What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this album from Conway called From King to a God. Now, Conway, or Conway the Machine, is a member and co-founder of Griselda Records, a label out of Buffalo, New York, known for their work ethic and consistency. They drop very often, and even this year, Conway has already dropped 2 projects. He has The Alchemist produced Lulu, and also the Big Ghost produced No One Mourns the Wicked. Griselda is always dropping at a rapid pace, and to be honest with you, that's why I don't review or check out every single thing that they drop. I like what they do. I think they're a really dope group, and I like how they are changing the game a little bit in their own way, but I try not to check every single thing because I get worn out on them too quick, you know? But this one I had to check out because I saw it was an actual album, not just an EP or a mixtape. It also had a lot of great features, and I'm glad I did check this one out because this shit is incredibly dope, man. You're gonna get that usual griminess that Griselda always delivers, like on the grungy guitar intro From King, where Conway spits, "I gave all my shooters the ultimate green light, I'm D'Antoni," a reference to Coach D'Antoni, who always has that fast-paced offense, although that didn't help the Rockets too much, and now he left the Rockets are out of the playoffs. That's a whole mess, but we'll talk about that maybe another time. And then on the track Nothing Less, we are getting this bright and nostalgic piano production from DJ Premier, but Conway is on here rapping about slanging dope to your parents and wrapping up your daughter and throwing her corpse in the harbor. So I thought that was kind of a weird fit, just what he was rapping about on that bright and beautiful production, but at the same time, that's kind of what Griselda does, and it still worked because the beat is nice and the flows are dope as well. And as you listen through, one thing you're going to notice here is that there are plenty of quotables and bars. Conway's pen game always seems like it's getting better, and on this album I think he's really taking it to the next level, because this is what I like best from him so far. Like when he spits, "I be rocking this jewelry, a lot of supermodels try to seduce me, all from the shit I jotted on loose leaf." I think that's pretty clever brag. You're going to hear that on the Crisis produced track called Jesus Crisis. And then on the song Doe and Damani, he drops off some of the album's best lines over this piano backdrop from Alchemist. Really fucking with this beat. There is a beat switch up as well, and both beats are great, but he's coming through with some great 2020 lines when he says, "I told the bros to wear your gloves and cover your face with masks, not for COVID-19, cause you got H to bag." That is some hard shit, and we all know what it's like in 2020 having to rock these masks all the time, so I thought that was a pretty clever idea he had there. He also speaks on feeling underrated on this track when he spits, "I see their lists and I personally get offended, cause every single verse is a verse of the year contender." And he also says, "I never do that interview, so that's why I purposefully don't get mentioned, but they know I'm certainly rapping circles around these niggas." He's going to be speaking about this throughout this album. You're going to hear multiple instances where he's rapping about feeling disrespected, and that's pretty fair when you do look at some of these lists and some of these verses that are being put up there as verse of the year. You could certainly go through Conway's catalog, especially on this album, and put some of those verses and lines up there, because he's rapping his ass off all over this one, man. And if I'm being honest with you, when I first listened to this project, I wasn't in love with it. It kind of felt like just another Griselda affair, although there is a bit more variety with the production. But once I started to break down the lyrics, and I had my Genius page up and was taking notes while working on this review, after doing all that, I really appreciated this album a lot more. There is a lot of stuff that you're going to pick up on here. And I got to shout out, of course, the feature-assisted tracks, because that's what really got me into this album. When I saw some of the people featured on the track list, I was curious to hear them. Like on Seen Everything But Jesus, we do get some pretty weak singing from Conway on the hook here. There are some other bad hooks, which I will bring up later. But the bars from him and Freddie Gibbs are great, because they're rapping about the street life and how it can result in lost loved ones and various regrets. Excellent feature from Freddie Gibbs here, but I gotta say this, man, he sounds so much like Zero that if you didn't know that was Freddie Gibbs on here, you probably would have thought it was Zero, man. He's coming through with that same sing-songy style, even his voice sounds like him. So if you appreciate this Freddie Gibbs appearance and you're not familiar with Zero, please check out some Zero, because I think he's underrated and underappreciated. That's a whole other topic for another day. But one of the tracks that grabbed my attention the most when I saw it, and I'm sure it's the same for a lot of you, is that Juvenile Hell. First of all, we have Havoc from Mobb Deep coming through with eerie string production and a hook. It was really just good to hear from Havoc, because he's not out there too much, but hopefully he gives us some more work. And we also get a rare appearance from Lloyd Banks, who shows that his flow is as crystal clear as ever. Lloyd Banks used to put out mixtapes all the damn time, hasn't been doing too much lately, but it was refreshing to hear him on here, and I am still waiting for that Cold Corner 3. So Lloyd Banks got to make that happen, man. I think think a lot of us are waiting on that. Then you throw in strong performances from Conway himself, also the gruff-voiced Flea Lord. Flea Lord is an artist who I haven't reviewed yet, but I need to eventually, because I like him, man. He's got this very gruff and raspy style to his voice. He got bars. This is just a great track all around. So I really did appreciate Juvenile Hell, and I also really liked Spurs 3. This is your quintessential Griselda cut featuring Benny the Butcher and Westside Gunn. You know how it goes, man. The chemistry is there as always. You're getting this jangly boom bap banger, and I think Conway's verse on this stole the show. Usually I'm more of a Benny fan, and I find it's Benny that has all the best bars, but Conway absolutely lit this shit up, man. He's got so many dope brags on here, clever lines. I was really impressed with this verse, so this is one of my favorite tracks for sure. I thought it was a dope brag when Conway spit, "Remember I used to sell the yay with the AK on the corner, now reality TV bitches saying I'm gorgeous." That was just one of many good lines on this song. But to get back to the features on here that stuck out to me, we haven't talked about Lemon featuring Method Man yet, and this is an incredibly dope song. There is a video for it as well, so make sure you check it out if you haven't. And this is another track where I thought the hook was pretty weak. I did mention this before on another song. This is another instance with a pretty weak hook, but there are great bars all over this. Conway is speaking on what it's like to see some of his friends behind bars, as well as how it affects the family members. And Method Man is just as sharp as ever, man. He is not missing a beat. He's someone else who I'd like to hear more from, much like Havoc and Lloyd Banks. So this is yet another great song with plenty of great lyricism. Conway really does get introspective throughout here when you start digging through the lyrics, man. Like I said, on the surface you might think it's just some kind of bland, stereotypical, or typical street shit, but the more you dig into what he's actually saying, he's getting into some really deep stuff here. So I really do appreciate that from Conway. But to get back to some of the more thoughtful, introspective moments, we got to talk about the song Front Lines. I did find this is yet another song with a pretty weak hook. I also didn't love the beat too much because it's just this dull piano thing going on, but this still has some of the best bars, including in that second verse where Conway is speaking on systemic racism and crooked cops. He also raps about 6ix9ine and how wild it is to see his rattiness celebrated, so lyrically there's a lot of great moments, but sonically I didn't care for this song too much. Then with Forever Dropping Tears, we have Conway absolutely pouring his heart out. The first verse deals with a friend who lost their life during a high-speed chase, and the second verse is all about DJ Shay, who died earlier this year. You will get some interludes from DJ Shay throughout this album as well, so there are plenty of tributes going on here, and I think that was really dope of Conway to do that. So RIP to the Buffalo legend himself, DJ Shay, and shout out to El Camino for singing on this song. I thought this was a really dope track, another great beat that does have a bit of a somber feel, so it matches up with the content. Yet another moment on this album that makes it an album that's going to make my year-end list, to be honest with you. I really didn't think it would at first, but the more I dove into this, the more I did appreciate it. As for weaker moments on this album though, I would go with Fear of God, which is too bad because I actually think this beat is really dope and Conway does rip it up, but that Dej Loaf feature on the end just really kind of felt out of place to me. I'm not a big Dej Loaf fan in the first place, but on this song I wasn't feeling it. And we also get Anza, which is a bland trap banger featuring Armani Caesar, who spits a line that's simultaneously bad and funny when she says, "I got the green like Luigi." Certainly not a very creative line, but hey, Nintendo reference, sometimes you're just here for that. So overall, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Griselda is continuing to stay consistent, and even though they do oversaturate the market, you're still going to get these great albums once in a while. Pray for Paris was really dope, this is really dope, and apparently Conway has another album coming out this year, as well as Benny the Butcher. So we got to stay tuned to see what else they have coming. Definitely check this one out, even if you're like me and you don't check every Griselda release. I would say this is one that you don't want to sleep on. But you guys let me know down in the comment section how you feel about it, because I always want to know. Of course, you also want to make sure that you do that good YouTube, social media stuff. You know how it is. Show me love and show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.